Welcome to the 2020 Greater Shepparton Volunteer Recognition Awards. This year is the 10th year of the awards, and though we can't get together in person, we can still celebrate the incredible volunteers who support the Greater Shepparton community. My name is Terry Cowley, and I am your host for this evening. So sit back and relax as we hear about the amazing people and groups who get out there and make a difference every single day. But first, it is my honour to introduce Uncle Reuben, who will conduct a Welcome to Country.
All right, I'm Uncle Reuben, and I welcome you all here today on behalf of Yorta Yorta country. Yorta Yorta people are the traditional landowners of this country, and Yorta Yorta people are made up of 16 family groups, and I'd like to acknowledge my ancestors, both past and present and emerging. And I'd like to thank you all today for having me here to do this warm welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you, Uncle Reuben, for welcoming us. It is an honour to have you conduct a very special Welcome to Country. The Greater Shepparton Volunteer Recognition Awards are all about saying thank you to the many volunteers who make Greater Shepparton a great place to be. And now, the Mayor of Greater Shepparton City Council, Councillor Seema Abdullah, will say a few words.
Before I begin, on behalf of Greater Shepparton City Council, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land which now comprises Greater Shepparton. I pay respect to their tribal elders, I celebrate their continuing culture, and I acknowledge the memory of their ancestors. It is my pleasure to be part of the 2020 Greater Shepparton City Council Volunteer Recognition Awards. We are so pleased that the awards ceremony could go ahead, even if it is in this virtual world that we are all getting used to. We are particularly proud to say that this is the 10th year of the Volunteer Awards. What an amazing achievement by those working behind the scenes to honor some of our region's finest people. This year, National Volunteer Week was held from the 18th to the 24th of May. The theme for this year was Changing Communities, Changing Lives. The impact volunteers have on our communities and our lives should not be underestimated or undervalued. Every single day in Greater Shepparton, volunteers dedicate their time to ensure people have food on the table, education is made more accessible, newly arrived migrants and refugees are supported, accessibility barriers are broken down, and social connectivity is encouraged. In 2020, volunteers have been and will be more important than ever before. The year started with devastating bushfires in Australia, followed by a pandemic that has touched every corner of the globe. Fear, uncertainty, isolation, and grief can threaten the social fabric that makes up a community, our community. But we believe volunteers are the people that hold this social fabric together by devoting countless hours to assist others. It is volunteers and their supporting organizations who thought of new ways to connect during these difficult times. It is volunteers who recognize need and act to lessen that need. It is volunteers who aim to ensure that no one is left behind. It is volunteers who strive to connect and reconnect. It is volunteers who change the community, and it is volunteers who change people's lives. Greater Shepparton is fortunate to have many dedicated and committed volunteers. And while the Volunteer Recognition Awards cannot encompass and recognize every volunteer in our region, we hope that in some small way, the awards are a sign of our appreciation. To all of you who have been nominated for the Volunteer Recognition Awards, I commend you and I thank you. To others who volunteer and make a contribution, no matter how big or small, I also commend you and I thank you. Thank you for changing our community and for changing lives.
Each year, Greater Shepparton City Council calls for nominations for the Volunteer Recognition Awards. This year, 21 nominations were received in the categories of Female Volunteer, Male Volunteer, Youth Volunteer, Volunteer Team, and Long Serving Volunteer. The selection panel, as it does every year, had a very hard task in choosing the award recipients in each category. Every volunteer nominated is valued and their work is appreciated by Council and the wider community. It is my pleasure to announce the nominees for the Female Volunteer of the Year in no particular order. Bree Findlay. Throughout the past 5 years, Bree has volunteered with the Lighthouse Project and has contributed a great amount of time and effort to projects and programs. Bree helped fundraise thousands of dollars for the Marupna Park Primary School Healthy Food Program, which ensures that 155 students are fed each day. Cynthia Ortiz-Gorry. Cynthia has dedicated the past 9 years volunteering to support the Filipino community. Although Cynthia works a full-time job, this does not affect the time and effort she puts into ensuring her community has a reliable support person to reach out to when they are in need. Pari Gol Ghalandari. Pari has volunteered her time working with the Gowrie Street Primary School's community hub as their support and childminder. Pari supports those connected to the community hub and encourages families to support the development of their children's education. Mheganne Lumsden. Meg has a lifetime of experience volunteering with church committees, social clubs, community and tourism centres, community planning groups and much more. More recently, Meg has volunteered her time with the South Shepparton Community Centre and has been instrumental in securing a space for the centre when it faced closure in 2017. The 2020 Greater Shepparton Female Volunteer Recognition Award recipient is Bree Findlay.
Hello, Bree.
Hello.
How are you going?
Well, how are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, I think we'll get down to business right off the bat. Bree, it's my absolute pleasure to let you know that you have actually won the Female Volunteer of the Year Award for 2020.
Thank you.
So that's pretty exciting.
Surprise. Yes.
It must be a wonderful thing to be recognised by your peers.
I feel like my first reaction is I don't feel like I deserve it whatsoever. But yeah, appreciate it, but feel very undeserved of it.
Now, you've done a lot of work with the Lighthouse Project over about 5 years. Can you tell us a bit more about that work?
Yeah, so I do like a range of things. I first started off by taking students from MCP, which is a school out the road in Shep, where children who are being disengaged from their secondary school go, and I've just started taking them on excursions out to businesses. So trying to get them to get interested in work. Taking them to all the big businesses around Shep on excursions. So I've done that for about 4 years, a couple of times a term. And then I got involved in the primary leadership table at Lighthouse, which is we look at the primary age kids in Shep and the issues around that and try and develop strategies to help that. So one of the main things I did last year was the Marupna Park Primary School have a healthy eating program. They found their kids were coming to school with really poor lunch boxes or like no food at all. So they decided to get the kids to stop bringing food to school and feed them 3 healthy meals a day. So what they need for that program to keep running is $26,000 a year, and a group of us last year raised that money for them by organising different functions and doing it again this year.
It's obviously a bit of an educational thread to what you are doing. What's drawn you to this type of work?
I used to be a school teacher, but the main reason I got into Lighthouse was I had many friends that would volunteer for Lighthouse, and I just heard the figures and the numbers of the student outcomes in Shep and wanted to help improve it.
Well, thank you so much, Bree, for all you do to make a difference to our community, and I'm sure you'll be a great inspiration to others.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations on winning the Female Volunteer in the 2020 Greater Shepparton City Council Volunteer Recognition Awards.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bree. It is now my pleasure to announce the nominees for the 2020 Greater Shepparton Male Volunteer Recognition Award. The nominees are Alex Sislov. Alex volunteers his time with the Lighthouse Project, working with the Marubna Park Primary School students in the Life Skills program. He is an active member of the Murchison CFA and frequently volunteers to teach young people skills in woodwork. Paul Uniacke. Paul has volunteered his time with Goulburn Valley Sun since 2016 and has been Regional Zone Representative. Paul has proven to be an instrumental part in the progress that the club has made in recent years. Paul volunteers his time for the development and success of regional football clubs. Peter Findlay. Peter volunteers his time with the Youth Referral and Independent Person program, attending police interviews for young people where a parent or guardian cannot be present. Peter ensures he is available 7 days a week at any time of the day to support vulnerable young people during some of the most difficult times in their lives. Greg Douglas. Greg has volunteered his time with FoodShare for the past 3 years, driving the food rescue van in an effort to retrieve food for community members in need. In 2019, Greg contributed to rescuing around 120,000 kilos of food that would otherwise have headed to landfill. This year, the awards selection panel had a very difficult task. When the final scoring was completed, 2 nominees in the male category could not be separated. This year, the award for the 2020 Greater Shepparton Male Volunteer of the Year goes to Alex Sislov and Peter Findlay.
Hello, Peter and Alex. Thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on being nominated in the Male Volunteers category of the Volunteer Recognition Awards.
Thank you.
It's an honour.
Well done.
It is an honour.
Perhaps if we first start with you, Alex Sislov, tell us a bit about your work with the Lighthouse Project.
I started with Lighthouse about 2 or 3 years ago, and I started off doing reading with some of the kids at Shep High, and I'm also a bit handy, so they were needing some nest boxes built at a couple of the schools, so organised some tools and a bit of timber, and we went building nest boxes at Marubna Park Primary, and then later on we did some more nest boxes with some of the VCAL kids at Wanganui High, and I've done nest boxes at some of their open days too, so I'm nest box out. And I've also do some I've sort of became a regular at the Marubna Park Primary until obviously this year. I was doing weekly sessions, just building things with the kids, just small things. We're doing some more woodwork pieces. We're doing some STEM project like science, technology, engineering and maths projects.
You're helping essentially with a life skills program.
Yeah, it was to teach them. It was a lot of fun, and for me too, watching them be so happy. But it's teaching them about dexterity, manual dexterity, but also about self-esteem. That's my main thing. That teaching them. A lot of the kids, particularly from Marubna Park, are from traumatised backgrounds, and it's to teach them self-esteem, self-respect, to show them that they can do something. So often school is about, pass and fail, and they can't read, and they can't do this, and they can't do that. So I wanted to make sure that there was something they could do, that they could all do. They could have some fun, that learning could be fun. It could teach themselves something about themselves, something positive about themselves.
Thank you for all the great work that you do, Alex. I know you're a bit of a fixture around those parts, and I'm sure that the kids, as well as the teachers and the rest of the school communities, really do appreciate the work you do. Well, obviously they do. You've been nominated for this award.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it too, so it's a two-way stretch.
Win-win.
Yeah.
As volunteering often is.
Yes.
Maybe if we move on to you, Peter Findlay, you've been volunteering with the Youth Referral and Independent Person program. Tell us a bit about how that program works and what it does.
Okay, the Youth Referral and Independent Persons program, or we call it YRIP, is a organisation that's part of the Centre for Multicultural Youth and Youth Affairs Victoria. It's a program that volunteers support young people during police interviews or young people that are taken into custody. So the volunteers go to a police station if a young person between the age of 10 and 18 does not have a parent or guardian that can support them during the interview. We will go as an independent person and support that young person with the interview, and also if there's an out of sessions bail hearing, we support them through that as well. So part of that is making sure that the young person understands their legal rights and their caution, their police caution. Also, we facilitate a legal practitioner, like a lawyer or something like that, if the young person would like to speak to a lawyer. If the young person is Indigenous, we can get VALS, which is Victorian Aboriginal Legal Service, on the phone for them. There's a few different parts that we can help the young people with during the interview. As you would probably be aware, a young person, especially if it's the first time in custody, it's a pretty daunting experience. They're normally sitting across from two big burly police officers, and if they've got somebody there that's supporting them and basically helping them through the interview, it does help them a lot.
Well, I'm sure that you make a huge difference to their experience of that situation. And I'm sure what you do is also very much appreciated by the police. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
This might be, it's my happy task now to let you know who has won the Male Volunteer for 2020. And I'm very pleased to see we have joint winners. So congratulations to both Peter and Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Peter.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Congratulations to you as well. You do a great job by the sounds of things.
Most unexpected, I can assure you.
Yeah. Two fantastic winners there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
Congratulations, Alex and Peter. It is now my pleasure to announce the nominees for the 2020 Greater Shepparton Youth Volunteer Recognition Award. The nominees are Fazela Abbasi. Fazela has volunteered a great amount of time in the past 8 months within the local Afghani Hazara community. Fazela has volunteered time outside of her paid work to support new arrival families and cultural and linguistically diverse communities in adjusting to a new life in Australia. The 2020 Greater Shepparton Youth Volunteer Recognition Award recipient is Fazela Abbasi.
Hi Fazela, thanks so much for joining us for the Volunteer Recognition Awards. Great to have you on board. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Now, I should just get straight down to it and let you know, very exciting news, that you have actually won the youth category of the Volunteer Awards for this year. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So we want to have a little bit of a chat about some of the great work you do, particularly with the local Afghani community. And you've done a lot of work supporting families who are new arrivals and helping them to get a bit of a foothold in the local community. Can you tell me a bit about some of the work that you've done with the local community?
So I've mainly just helped around with driving families and friends to their doctor's appointments, to the hospital, sometimes even around town if they needed it, because when families first arrive here, public transport is quite hard to use for them. They're not familiar with the city, so driving them around town would be one of the things I would do to help them. I've also assisted in translating in those appointments. So when I attend a doctor's appointment and, if they're happy and they give their permission, I'm happy to, interpret for them between the doctor and the families. I've also done just mini volunteer work at the local mosque here in the Afghani mosque, and, just helping with making tea during the Ramadan feasts and serving people food and things like that. Yeah.
You're talking about a lot of practical help, but I'm guessing that you're giving a lot of emotional support to people who really need it.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most important thing of all.
Yeah.
So, am I right in saying that you're also a bit of a soccer star?
Yeah. Well, I was, but after the pandemic, it stopped, and I do miss playing a lot.
So you're obviously highly involved in your community. How important do you think it is for us to take those sort of roles and get involved and help others locally?
I think it's very important, especially as a woman as a woman from migrant background. It's not very highly recognised to be playing sports for young women like myself within this community. So to be that type of role model in the community, to set some kind of example for younger girls to follow their dreams if they ever do feel like playing a sport or just doing anything. It doesn't even have to be a sport, that they go for it. I think it's very important.
So it sounds like you're an important role model in your community.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you so much for all that you're doing to make a difference in our community, and especially for people who are new to our community, supporting them, and at such a young age, it's amazing to see. You're a fantastic role model. So congratulations again on your youth award, and I'm sure we haven't heard the last of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your support.
Congratulations, Fazela. Each year, the Greater Shepparton Volunteer Recognition Award ceremony is held during Volunteer Week in May. The ceremony sees volunteers and their families, friends and organisations come together to celebrate, network, share food and, of course, hear about the nominees and their important work. This year, because we can't all get together in one space, we thought we'd bring you some videos which highlight the importance of volunteers.
Hi everyone, Peter Harriott, CEO of the Greater Shepparton City Council. On behalf of the Council, I would like to thank you for all your volunteer work, particularly those volunteers throughout Greater Shepparton. I can't emphasise enough how important volunteers are in the functioning of our community, especially now in these difficult COVID-19 times. As volunteers, you all provide such essential services throughout the community, and you really are the glue that keeps the community together. Council couldn't function alone. It's just not economically viable to do it, all the work that needs to be done on its own. So we very much need volunteers to help us get throughout the day. I thank you all for the countless hours that you as volunteers have put in to ensure that essential services are provided for Greater Shepparton community members. That's many essential services right across this municipality. So again, thank you very much. Can't do it without you. We thank you and please keep it up.
At the Greater Shepparton Visitors Centre, thousands of visitors who drop in each year are welcomed by our passionate volunteers. Our local ambassadors share their knowledge with enthusiasm. They energetically promote our region and give travellers great insights into our visitor experiences and local community life. The Greater Shepparton community is very fortunate to have such a committed group of volunteers who represent our community, business and events with great pride, and we are just as proud of them. Well done, volunteers.
Hi, I'm Alison from River Connect. I'm here at the Boulevard Bush Reserve to say thank you to all of the volunteers that support us throughout the year. In particular, Shepparton Mooroopna Urban Land Care Group, who take care of this place and have done some wonderful planting. The Goulburn Valley Environment Group, BirdLife Murray Goulburn, the Shep Canoe Club, the Shep Camera Club and so many others. It's incredibly important to our program to have you volunteering out there and doing all that hard work, and especially also our school students who come out and do some amazing work here on a voluntary basis as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Darcy Warren from the Activities in the Park team, and we provide free and low cost activities for all ages and abilities in parks, reserves, pools and playgrounds around Greater Shepparton. We work in partnership with local businesses, sports clubs and community, and this includes a huge number of internal and external partnerships facilitated, as well as our really valuable volunteers. We wouldn't be able to deliver the program if it wasn't for our volunteers, who give up of their own time to support these programs and then allow us to provide a program that really is one of a kind and lets us support our community to be more active, healthy, happy and connected. So I really wanted to say a big thank you to the time and effort each and every one of our facilitators and volunteers puts into the program to make it a success. Thank you very much. And we are looking forward to getting back out into our local parks and communities to deliver face-to-face activities very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Riverlinks would like to thank all the volunteers at Council. We'd especially like to thank all the volunteers that help us out at Riverlinks to bring shows to the community.
It is now my pleasure to announce the nominees for the 2020 Greater Shepparton Volunteer Team Recognition Award. The nominees are 1FM. 1FM is a local radio station made up of volunteers who bring a variety of radio programs to the community each day. The 1FM team volunteers its time for community members to have a voice and encourage cultural connection through programs such as its language programs. Kyalla Golf Club. The Kyalla Golf Club team volunteers its time for the ongoing maintenance of the Kyalla Golf Course. The Kyalla Golf Club volunteers ensure that facilities and the golf course are in excellent condition for the use of community members and for hosting regular community competitions. Shepparton Home Library Service. For the past 18 years, Shepparton Library's Home Library Service volunteers have been a source of connection for those who can't visit the library in person. They're a wonderful group of people who give their own time and friendship to the library service and the community they deliver to. Vision Australia. Vision Australia has a team of dedicated volunteers, each playing a significant role in the volunteer space. 6 years ago, funding was cut, which affected day programs. Vision Australia pulled together to ensure that clients were not left isolated and continued to provide social settings for those affected. Heartbeat Victoria Goulburn Valley Branch. Heartbeat Victoria was established 33 years ago and consists of a group of volunteers providing peer support activities for those and their families who are affected by heart conditions. The team supports those affected by a cardiac event through some of the most toughest times of their life. Soroptimist International Shepparton. Soroptimist International Shepparton was established 50 years ago and is one of many branches around the world. Soroptimist International Shepparton has a team of dedicated volunteers who raise funds throughout the year and donate to local service providers and institutions. Lions Club of Tatura. The Lions Club of Tatura is a hard-working group of volunteers who loves to give their time and support those in need. The Lions Club of Tatura assists well-known projects such as Tatfest, Tatura Carols, Community Service, Opportunity Plus and Cancer for Kids. Where there is a need, there is a lion. The 2020 Greater Shepparton Volunteer Team Recognition Award recipient is Heartbeat Victoria Goulburn Valley Branch.
Hello, Robin and Ian. Thanks so much for joining us and congratulations on being nominated in the team section for the Greater Shepparton City Council Volunteer Recognition Awards for the fantastic work that you do and others with Heartbeat Victoria Goulburn Valley Branch. So we'd love to hear more about the work that Heartbeat does.
Heartbeat Goulburn Valley Branch was formed in 1986 and it's been going we're in our 34th year. And we support people with heart conditions, their partners, carers, family, by providing peer support, which actually, it just complements and enhances other services that people with heart conditions might have, but it offers the chance to share experiences and have social connection, keep up to date with information that as it changes. So we run various activities to do that in Shepparton.
I joined Heartbeat. I should give a small amount of history. I joined Heartbeat in 1986 after I had heart surgery, and even for myself, you know, at that age I was 46 years old, and I basically thought my life was over at that point, or the active life that I had prior to that anyway, and so. A gentleman came around and knocked on my door one day and said, you know, I'd like to come along to Heartbeat, and I started going along, and I was fortunate enough to be president. I think it was 2000 to 2016 or 17, and that was a great time. So when you're president, you're very, very active in all aspects of it, but you don't really spend a lot of time doing one special thing. But since I've stopped being president, my main role now is coordinating the can. We collect all the aluminium cans and sell them to scrap dealers, and all that money goes to Heartbeat. All that money goes through Heartbeat to the hospital, and we basically try to buy things that are cardiac influenced at the hospital. Anything that we can put our money to that we know that it's going to help the cardiac people, anyone who's had heart surgery of any way, shape or form. And the other activities we do is just fellowship as such, you know, like I said, I was 46 years of age when I had heart surgery. So I've had near enough to, I don't know, 22, 23 years or something. So I've got all that age behind me from that. So you see someone, even our president just at the moment, who had heart surgery. I don't know, it would have been 5, 6, 7 years ago. We went around and we heard about him. So we went around and he was in pretty good shape, but just to talk to him, you knew that he was in a little bit better shape after we talked to him. He knew that, you know, life goes on and you do all sorts of things after heart surgery.
So you talk about that emotional support that you're able to offer.
Oh, any support that someone wants, because if I haven't had the problem, someone else has had the problem, you know. So therefore, a collective group's a whole heap better than a group of individuals that don't talk to one another.
We've got about 58 members on our books, and we send a newsletter out to all of them monthly, and that always has our activities in it. We produce an annual calendar in February each year, so we can people can choose the activities we have, because we want to cover a range of those things, the emotional, social, educational. Because of the evidence-based research that's going on all the time, there's often changes in what medications are out there or dietary requirements. But I think most people, and it's come out more so with COVID, really value the social support. So some of our volunteers pick up those, because we meet at night, so people who work can join us who are younger. Some people can't drive for various reasons, so some volunteers pick them up so they can be involved, and particularly people with heart failure, they don't have perhaps the stamina to do that. We have a walk once a month in the middle of the month just to remind people about exercise, and we always go out for dinner or lunch or dinner after that. And again, some of them aren't up to being able to walk, but to be able to go out to dinner is motivation and exercise, and they're then able to share with friends that they're familiar with and see how they're going.
I want to let you know that your Heartbeat branch, the Golden Valley branch, has actually won the Teams category for the Volunteer Recognition Awards for 2020. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. That's really good news. Our whole team will be pretty pleased about this. This year has been really difficult with COVID and having to change how we operate and how we keep in touch and check that everyone is okay. And we actually made a video just before COVID shut down that actually shows what Golden Valley branch does with Heartbeat and peer support, which is on YouTube. So it's been a great year for us to have this recognition and the video launch, which has been well received even by DHHS that gave us the funding for it.
Thanks for that, and that makes volunteering all the more happier. So thanks very much for that good news, Terry.
Thank you to everyone.
Well done.
Congratulations, Heartbeat. Before we announce the long-serving volunteer category, we have a short presentation of members of the community and council officers thanking volunteers. It is now my pleasure to announce the nominees for the 2020 Greater Shepparton Long-Serving Volunteer Recognition Award. The nominees are Annie Squires. Annie has held many volunteer positions, in particular volunteering with the Lighthouse Project since its inception, supporting Wilmot Road Primary School Homework Club, and also volunteering to provide sewing and cooking classes at The Haven. Pamela Alexander. Pamela has dedicated more than 30 years volunteering with Girl Guides Australia and Mooroopna Rotary Club. Pamela has given young women a positive and inspiring role model to look up to and ensured that young women reach their full potential in leadership, confidence and compassion. Jeanette Berry. Jeanette Berry has worked tirelessly in her 35 years volunteering with Soroptimist International Shepparton. Jeanette has contributed her time and efforts to fundraising events, health awareness events and women's forums, and has been a dedicated volunteer delivering meals for the Meals on Wheels program. Leigh Bamford. Leigh has influenced the lives of many people in his time in the volunteer space. Over a 30-year period, Leigh has provided support to the Department of Health and Human Services, Shepparton Tourist Information Centre, Goulburn Valley Health, Mercy Aged Care, St Brendan's Church and much more. Severin Durring. Severin has proved his dedication to volunteering as a long-serving volunteer with Mooroopna Kiwanis, Mooroopna Men's Shed, Mooroopna Community Planning Group, Mooroopna Recreation Reserve, Mooroopna Pool Board, Street Rider, Berry Street L2Ps program, and the list continues. The 2020 Greater Shepparton Long-Serving Volunteer Recognition Award recipient is Leigh Bamford.
Hello, Leigh. Thank you for joining us and congratulations on being nominated in the Long-Serving Volunteer of the Year category.
Thanks, Terry. Yes, it's really good to be nominated.
Well, in recognition of all your hard work. Now, I know that you volunteer for the Department of Health and Human Services, with the Shepparton Tourist Information Centre, with GB Health, with Mercy Aged Care, with St Brendan's Catholic Church. I mean, there's so many organisations. How do you spread yourself over all those organisations, Leigh?
I just work it in like with an itinerary.
Wow.
I basically work it on the days, that I'm free.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's drawn you to that kind of work? You obviously really enjoy helping others.
Well, I've done it for over 30 years. I couldn't get much paid work. So I thought, well, to satisfy people more to do, get into voluntary work, and at least I was enhancing my skills.
What do you think you've gotten out of your volunteering experience?
I have got a lot. I have found a lot of soul searching and a lot of different things in myself. I've been able to meet people.
How important do you think volunteering is to our community?
Extremely important. I think anyone that wants to do something should get up and start off voluntary to enhance their skill.
Can you tell us specifically what are some of the things that you've been able to do with all the different organisations you've worked for? Like, for example, GB Health, what sort of involvement has that entailed?
GB Health was meet and greet, and it was where you'd meet people and direct them through and sort of go, well, how's your day going? Like you might be having a bad day, so we'll direct you to where you want to go. It's not only meeting and greeting and putting on a happy face, it was also you had a responsibility.
Yeah.
You're the number one person that they see.
You're the public face.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you're obviously a very busy man, Leigh, and I just want to thank you on behalf of our community for all the things that you do to make it a better place.
Thanks, Terry.
There's just one more thing I have to let you know about. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'd just like to let you know that you have won the Long-Serving Volunteer of the Year, Leigh Bamford.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
I just want to congratulate you again. And
Thank you, Kerry.
I'm sure this will encourage you to go on and do more great things within our community.
I'm sort of lost for words, but yeah,
That's
thank you.
okay.
I'm really happy.
Well,
Thank
just
you.
congratulations again, and a very well
Thanks,
deserved
Kerry.
Congratulations to all the nominees and award recipients. Thank you for the time and effort you contribute to making Greater Shepparton even greater.
On behalf of Greater Shepparton City Council, I would like to thank all those who made the 2020 Greater Shepparton Volunteer Recognition Awards possible. Thank you in particular to Terry Cowley, who, with the support of 1FM, did a fantastic job of hosting the awards. Thank you to all the nominees and those who nominated them. Thank you to the council officers who worked hard to create the virtual awards ceremony. And a massive thank you to volunteers everywhere. Thank you.